Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm with Salesforce.
Nice to see you.
Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I know your time is very valuable, and here's my card for future contact.
Great, thank you. Of course, it's so nice to see you again.
So I talked with your assistant, and she said you had about 20 minutes today to go over some things.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, cool. So just before we dive in, I want to make sure it's okay that I ask you a couple of questions, really just to fully understand your company's situation, some potential areas of dissatisfaction, some goals for the future.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds good.
Okay, so in preparation for this meeting, I talked to some employees and clients with APC just to gain a better understanding of your company's current operations and some of your organizational structure. And I was able to identify a few different problems that I'm hoping we'll be able to solve with your efficiency. So if you wanted to take a look at this agenda here and just kind of look over that for a second and see if there's anything that, I didn't cover or that we don't need to go over today.
No, this actually looks really great to me. Honestly, some of the things on here I had not even realized were major problems, so I'm definitely interested in discussing and addressing these.
Great. So before we start, do you think that there's anyone else that we need to have in this meeting, or are we good?
I think for today, just us two is good.
Okay. So awesome. To start off, I actually spoke with John, and he's an account manager for some of your larger sales teams or your sales clients. And I also talked to some of your customers through some of our discussions. We were able to identify some areas that we think we could implement some changes or maybe help you all with some more efficient practices. So
yes, that sounds great. John's honestly super helpful, so that sounds great to me.
So one of the first places that we saw your company needed some help was with coordinating clients and some information gaps among account information, and how some of that has resulted in communication errors.
Yes, I would definitely say that these are some of our newer problems that definitely are significant and that we have been finding as APC has been growing so at such a large and rapid rate. So, which is awesome, but as a result, we're kind of been discovering that with so many large accounts across such a vast area of regions that sometimes it can be a little difficult to coordinate some of this information to make sure it's accurate and up to date.
And has there been any losses from that?
I know that a couple months ago we did experience a major client loss just because of a simple miscommunication that was seemingly avoidable. This is something that we have been dealing with and trying to sustain with our growth, but right. I'm absolutely open to considering new ways to improve our internal infrastructure.
Right, so considering those issues that you just mentioned, losing clients and just the miscommunication issues, would you say that the reason that client left and gone a different direction may have been a result of those communication errors that you're having within your organization?
Yes, I would say that is something that does happen, and there are clients that have I think a lot of time that isn't being put into looking for this sort of information that should obviously be focused on supporting the client in sales. So with this information kind of scattered across all our different platforms, I think it's possible that they do refer to inaccurate or maybe out-of-date information for clients, which is definitely never good and something that we just makes us look bad, and that's not something that we want APC. Right,
so maybe had your employee been a little bit more focused and spent the time that they needed to be focused on the client they were seeing instead of finding information about the client, they probably would have been better off in succeeding with that client.
Yes, I definitely think that time wasted is something that we want to definitely look at and address.
So I totally understand that, and it sounds like it's been somewhat of a significant issue that could definitely use somewhat of an organizational makeover for you all. So in order to get a better picture of how this issue may be impacting your firm, I actually was able to look at some of the things you mentioned, like the time lost in finding data, accessing the internal database, and just coordinating communication across all boards of your employees and across your organization. So just to quantify things, in terms of the time lost you mentioned in some of these activities, this time loss could actually be costing your company upwards of $10 billion per instance of time lost. So each time a client is lost or deferred, we could say that may happen 4 times a year. You're looking at a $40 billion loss at a minimum with a delay of a sale.
Wow, $40 billion a year. That does sound like a high estimate, but the way you just broke it down, I guess I could see where the money starts to get lost through the process.
Right, exactly. So problems like these are actually easily avoidable and can have an immense negative impact on your daily operations, the way that you are seen from your client's point of view, and with your rapid growth, we think that it's pretty important that you establish a stable internal infrastructure and that your accounts are able to grow at the larger pace that they need to be growing at. So it becomes increasingly important to have an efficient internal structure for you all.
Right. So yeah, losing clients and information as a result of wasted time is definitely something that we would like to fully end, as unfortunately your numbers do look correct.
Right. Okay, so just moving on to the second issue that I have on your agenda. I'm seeing that you guys are keeping up with your orders, but are you making sure everything is fully aligned in terms of sustaining your growth? John had mentioned that you guys are actually projected to grow 4 to 6% this year. So are you prepared for that type of expansion?
Yeah, we are very excited about our future and our growth plans. We're just not, I guess, fully sure of what that looks like yet at this point.
Right. So I know that last year in 2017 you had $98 billion in revenue, which is a huge feat. And you're on track for $109 billion in 2018, which is also incredible. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. So considering that large growth, would you consider your current platform of keeping track of orders and your current CRM information stable and valuable?
Although I do think that our current system is working for us for the most part, I do think that given our expected growth and given the fact that we do not have a current full, efficient CRM system in place, at all, I think that implementing and addressing some of these issues is something that is very important to us.
Right, so you did say you didn't think that your CRM situation was really efficient, even though it is in place. So how are all of your employees' accounts handled and managed, and how does that information flow internally between employees across the board?
So honestly, at this point, we do have a couple of different systems in place that we use to track orders and client accounts, but I would say that it's definitely a little bit messy. There's a mix of Excel sheets, just emails going around, different Word documents sent around, and honestly even Post-it notes sometimes, so it's definitely a little unorganized.
So would it be fair to say that APC is looking to establish a little bit more of a comprehensive, inclusive system of sales, account, client information that can be easily accessed and conveniently across all ends of your business?
Yes, I definitely do think that this would be extremely beneficial to APC and really just anything that is able to be easily accessible by all our employees really across the board, and that includes all this relevant information to different client accounts. Like I said, our current system's a little bit unorganized, and you're right, I do think that we do need a more sustainable practice in place.
Right, so I've actually spoken with some other APC employees and clients who've addressed the fact that although it's uncommon, occasionally an order's lost or delayed and unidentified throughout the shipping process, which can be problematic. Would you say that that's a relevant problem for you all?
Yes, although honestly I have not really previously considered this one of our major problems as much as I should have. I do think that if this is happening, this is something that is a big problem that APC does need to address this.
Right, and I totally agree. So putting this with some numbers, the issue of tracking and keeping up with that growth, if that gets misplaced or lost, that could cost you guys upwards of $10 billion per instance. So if we estimated this to happen 10 times a year, which might be under, potentially what it could be, you're facing a loss of potentially $100 billion per year.
Oh wow, okay, so that's definitely something we absolutely cannot afford in terms of finances, but also just customer relations. I'm glad that this was brought to my attention. It's something that we really do need to address and focus on more.
And I completely agree, and I'm really glad that you see the value in having a solution to that. So I also want to just go over the last thing on the agenda for today and the last issue that we've seen. And that's something that I actually came across and talked to John about at the UGA symposium, about how your company is very mobile across the globe. You have sales reps in the US, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Mexico, Brazil, the list goes on. Are there any places in that I'm missing?
Honestly, we're really willing to operate anywhere where we are able to generate business and generate profit, but and we are expecting these areas to grow as we do. But right now, I think that those are all the major areas that we have reps in.
Right, so that's obviously a ton of ground for you all to cover with the current platform that you have. So I've noticed that you have 4 region project managers and then 5 area sales reps per region. You've got 275 domestic clients, 386 worldwide clients, and it sounds like it's really important for your reps to be able to access information on the go when they need it, where they need it, at any time of the day.
Yes, so as we do continue to expand and grow, our firm, it does become more and more important for our reps to be able to access this information easily and in a timely manner, and just really spend less time just searching through all the databases we have.
Right, so say for example, one of your reps is on a project site across the globe, different time zone, and at a different time zone than your headquarters in Houston, Texas, and they were unable to get the information that they needed at that time. Would you say that that's a waste of time for your customer and your sales rep?
Yes, I would definitely say that this does negatively affect our customers' perspective of us.
Right.
But also, our reps should have information readily available to them.
Definitely. So in measuring the frequency of instances like this per region and per year, I was able to quantify a dollar amount that these types of losses are costing APC on those delay of sales, and sending reps to places all over the world and them not being able to complete that sale totally because of that lack of information. And so when that happens, you're looking at about $5 billion per year. So do you feel like that's a problem worth trying to fix?
I absolutely do feel like the more time that and energy that we can save on completing future sales will overall just help us really sustain our growth practices and our projections that we are anticipating for the future. So this is definitely an avoidable cost for us.
So before we go over the overall costs of maybe implementing solutions to this type of these issues that we've been over, is there anything else that you feel I've missed or that I could also assist you all with?
No, I really feel like you have done your research. You know exactly the problems that APC is facing.
All right. Well, I did quantify some of our research into an Excel sheet just so that you can see all of the numbers that we have here. So I ran the numbers on what these issues are costing APC, and the first issue of information gaps and coordinating with clients, coordinating among your own business is costing your company about $10 billion in revenue. So if this were to happen, say, 4 times a year, you're looking at a loss of almost $40 billion a year.
Wow, you say billion? That cannot be right. We cannot be losing that type of revenue.
I said billion. And there's actually more too. So when we're addressing our second problem of order tracking, keeping up with growth, each time you have a loss, you're looking at $10 billion each instance. So say you have a delayed shipment or a delayed order 10 times in just a year across your global market, you're facing a loss of over $100 billion. So that's for your second issue. And when it comes to your third issue of your mobility and your ability for your reps to readily access the information that they need at their fingertips, a loss in that arena is going to cost you $5 billion per instance. And at an estimated 40 times throughout the year, you're looking at $200 billion in potential losses for just that issue alone.
These are the type of costs that we just cannot afford.
Right. So honestly, I'm sad to say that some of these problems could add up to a point of $340 billion in losses per year.
Okay, so that's definitely something that we need to fix.
So the good news is I've come prepared with all the solutions that Salesforce has to offer you. So in addressing your first problem, coordination, and just, the entire business seeking to solve information gaps from your HR reps to your finance guys to your field reps in the out in the field, your sales reps. We actually have a solution called Accounts and Contacts. So accounts will allow you to store information on all of your business accounts that you're doing business with, and contacts are going to be the people that are working within that organization. So for instance, that rep that's across the world at a different time zone, he needs to know exactly who he's going in to meet with, and he doesn't have to email and wait for that person to wake up. He can log on and go and find who they're going to be meeting with and the information they need to know about this customer's purchase history. And so with this tool, your reps can see the company's list of records, people who work there, progress requests, documents. You can even see their social media. And it'll allow them to come into their meeting feeling fully prepared.
Okay, that's great. This is definitely a tool that we've needed for a really long time. This will prevent our reps from needing to dig deeper in through old Excel files to find simple information that should obviously already be accessible. So as a result of that, our employees will hopefully have more time and to reach this information that they should be outselling.
Right. And so that's exactly what we're aiming to do. So with that said, in terms of keeping up with your orders and along with the expected growth of your company, we do actually offer a tool called Path and Kanban. So this will allow you to update records, the status of your company, the status of your customers' orders. Kanban will allow you to see these records visually, so you'll get graphs and just a visual overview of where your business is going with a certain customer. And it'll actually really help you see the leads and tasks that you overall need to be able to look into.
Yeah, since we are a global company with so many accounts around the world to keep up with, this tool is definitely seems like it'd be useful for our reps and managers to keep tabs on where we are in a lead and what we can expect in the future.
Right, and to address your final issue of mobility, Salesforce offers the dashboard. So the dashboard is a tool that any of your employees can use on the go, at their fingertips, on a laptop, phone, computer, and this will allow them to see exactly what they need to see in terms of the information on orders, and it'll give you a check and report on your homepage. So with this tool, there's no longer a need to head back to the office or give someone a phone call, dig through emails, and it'll allow your reps to make the sale in a timely manner.
So all these solutions sound super great and something that we definitely are in need of, but at what cost to APC?
So just given all the issues that we've discussed and the solutions that you're interested in and see as valuable, the total cost of implementing the Salesforce solution would come at a cost of $200 million per year. I know this number might sound like a lot, but when you compare it to the losses APC is experiencing at $340 billion per year, APC will have a huge return on investment in this, and it'll allow APC to effectively reach that future goal of expansion.
Great, so these solutions are definitely what APC needs to succeed. I would love to go ahead and sign a contract with you and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today, and I'm going to go get the paperwork so we can get things finished up, and we appreciate the business that you do with us and hope to continue to do.
Great.
Thanks, Katie.
Yep.